All right. Hello and welcome to Fragments of Remains, session 21. I know that we had last week off, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, with that in mind, Valencia, how was your couple weeks?
Uh, Busy. I did a lot of painting.
You said you were painting the house, like just like giving it like a fresh coat, like the outside, or
No, just basically the inside because that's what we do when we have company over. We renovate the entire house.
hey, that's not a bad idea, but a little strange to say the least.
Yeah.
Modar, how was your couple weeks, bud?
Good. Yeah, I had a crazy, crazy busy couple of weeks at work, so it's been good. You know, uh, ready to get back into this. Ready to see what happens. Crossing my fingers, we're not all dead by in the first 20 minutes.
That would be ideal.
That'd make for an interesting episode, right? I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna run with it. Togo, how's your couple weeks?
Oh, they were pretty good, pretty good. Not too bad. The snow in Memphis caused untold havocs on our shipping and getting stuff shipped to us, but really it's just kind of slowed us down, so it's been nice actually.
That's good. Well, I'm sorry that the snow slowed you down, but I mean,
We
you live up
actually didn't
north. You're
get
kind of
any
used to it.
snow. I live in Tennessee, good sir. We are not the north. We're below the Mason-Dixon line, thank you very much.
You know, I live in Florida. Everything's north.
Fair enough. But we
Cliff?
actually didn't get snow, it's just Memphis got a ton.
So it's just like from like where it fell, it like
Yep.
hindered you. Got it. Zanashi, how was your couple weeks?
I don't remember, man. The only thing I got on my mind right now is what can I do to accommodate the party to die?
Wait, this party or tomorrow's party?
No, today's party, man. What can I do that will get us in trouble?
You can touch the oddly smoking jar.
That was a good one.
I knew something like that was gonna happen, but I was
Uh,
like, this smoke is annoying. I'm gonna touch it.
yes, he did. Yeah, he decided to touch this. I can't really say what it is right off the bat because it's a
Object.
spoiler. Yeah, this object is smoking, and the module said that if it was disturbed at all,
I picked it up.
every surviving orc, undead orc, would arrive on the next round. And of course, they diplomated their way through this place, so there was a lot of living undead orcs and a
I think we only
lich.
killed 2 out of like 12 or 15.
So yeah, it was funny because Glorwyn, he I guess he was the first one to notice they had a lot of stuff outside the door, and he goes, "Oh shit!" Just the way he says it though is just funny as hell.
That sounds like it's worthy of a clip. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch that VOD and clip it.
Yeah, he says some funny stuff, man. I think you get a kick out of it.
Well,
But
I'm glad
I'm
that
good.
each of you had a good couple weeks. It sounds that your game on Sunday had a good time, and that they're probably gonna have an even better time next week. But with that, I know that we had a couple weeks off, and with the last session being composed of all combat. In fact, we even ended in turn order still. Um, but if there's anything in particular you guys would like to add to it, feel free. If not, I'll just give a small little narrative before jumping into tonight's game.
We lost a brave soul last time we played. A hero amongst his kind. One who should be remembered fondly in all of our hearts.
I'm still alive, dude.
I was talking about the host.
Ah, damn it.
Bill Lorenzo.
Bill Lorenzo. Rest in peace.
Hey, rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, see where your head's at, Alicia. All about yourself.
Yeah, I'm very prideful. I'm very arrogant.
That sounds like Alencia.
It does. I don't know why she wants to be like that. You got to think about the rest of the party sometimes.
That's really rich. It's so rich.
Think about the party all the time. I'm so selfless.
Good thing you're not Pinocchio there, Zanashi. Your nose would be getting bigger.
My monitor would be broken.
The epitome of lawful good right here. That's what you are, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I will go ahead and say this. As our party continued their journey on April 26th, year 1101, you made it just a little bit into the late morning, early afternoon hours when you saw a flock of birds flee from a tree. Zanashi made her way over to go inspect the situation, and then when making her way over, found there to be a snake fallen from the tree with a bird clutched in its jaws. After a little bit of an inspection and the idea of attempting to save this bird in some manner or another, Zanashi made her way over and then finally noticed where there were more than a dozen, about foot to a foot long snakes that began to fall. And as the combat began to break out, as Zanashi was a bit scared of these snakes running away, and each of the party members beginning to slay these tiny, helpless snakes, it did seem that a trap had been sprung. As lizard folk began to make their way out of the bushes and trees in hopes of removing each of your heads. After a fairly long battle that lasted nearly a whole minute. I think we got through 8 rounds, maybe a little bit more. But the last part of the combat after the lizard folk had been taken out was where this large giant ape had continuously was beating his chest as what you all presumed to be the leader of the lizard folk was taking out. We ended the session just near 10 a.m. in the morning, as Togo had just taken a shot which finished off the lizard folk leader. So with that, we will jump back into our combat with the end of Togo's turn, moving on to Modar. Togo, I believe you had a bonus action, and that was it from what I remember. I know that you moved up and then took a shot. You might have a little bit of movement left, but it won't be much.
I think Togo's just gonna sink down to the ground and be like, and then stand up and look over at the giant ape and kind of like take his crossbow and be like halfway pointing it up at him, but he's not gonna do anything.
And as the ape continuously beats his chest, you'll hear him just give out a few grunts as he opens his mouth, bearing a couple of large fangs as he roars into the sky above. Anything else for your turn, Togo?
No, that'll be it.
Modar, we move to you.
All right, I'm going to get off the horse and start moving towards the ape.
So as you make your way over, you'll notice out of the corner of your eye, off to the eastern direction, the once dark smoke that was there to create a bit of a diversion has now fully dissipated.
I guess that's probably about all the movement I have after getting off the horse. And I am going to make sure I'm in a non-threatening manner whatsoever. Even kind of placing my staff on the ground. And I'm going to look at the giant ape and going, I assume you're one of the druids. We mean no disrespect to you and your lands. Everybody, just calm down and relax. And that's going to be the end of my turn. And thank you for your help. Yeah.
Valencia, move to you.
I need to make sure I kept track of this. Okay. Alencia will use, because I wrote this down, only Togo has taken the full action healing hands, so I'm going to use it on Zanashi now. This should help for a bit.
Thank you, Lucia. What were you doing with that lizard person?
I was losing a battle, but that's not important.
Well, so you just stepped off of it.
She's gonna approach the gorilla unarmed. Like he said, we've been ambushed. And we took care of it. Thanks for your help.
All right. Is that the end of your turn, Alencia? As the gorilla just kind of beats onto the ground, not as heavily as it was once before, still giving off a bit of grunts and hoots.
That's it.
This giant ape will begin to make his way over towards you, Alencia, and Modar. As he does, he will raise his hands and then bring them down towards each of you. As he does, the fist unclench, revealing the palm face up. As he pokes both of you in the belly, one time with the tips of his fingers.
Do we do something?
Thank you. And I'll just acknowledge him. You want us to follow you?
He keeps poking you, holding his hands out in front of you.
Should we
I'll-
step in?
I will put my hand out to his.
He'll clutch your hand. Not hard, but definitely engulfing it with his giant ape hand. And then he'll look towards you, Alencia.
Right. Here.
And taking both of your hands, you'll see the fangs begin to reduce in the mouth as the ears grow a bit longer. And as they do, you'll notice that they both the ears become a bit pointy. The fur begins to recede, and each of the beige skin begins to turn a light grayish green color. Me like. And you'll start shaking both of your hands quite, like, violently, up and down with no rhythmic pattern at all. Just seems quite unorthodox.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, indeed. Nice to meet you, sir.
So I just want to go and make sure with the last person, Zanashi. Seeing this happen, the giant ape transforming into what you know to be a goblin, especially meeting quite a few, not to mention Rord and other various mounts in Vala and then the tribes here. But it is no longer a giant ape. Shaking the hands of your friends, what do you do?
I move over here and I start scalping this lizard. I want to cut him out of his skin, take his hide.
Seeing them turn into a actual person, I'll put my bow down or the crossbow up and kind of.
Well, with that, since the last one to go was Zanashi for that, just to make sure that there's nothing else that needed to be done, we will conclude combat, as there seems to no longer be any threats lurking in the area.
I'm going to drag the body over underneath the tree, over to my left, the bigger tree, and skin it out. And I'm going to kind of lean the body up against the trunk of the tree, and I'll whisper you what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go behind the tree where they can't see me.
Okay, just so you are aware, I left one on the map just so, like, a friendly reminder that there's a lot of lizard folk here. But there are, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 12 in total. So if there's anything that you guys would like to do with the rest of those, they're there. If you want, I can move them back to the regular layer. But it was just to make it not so clustered.
Appreciated. Well, I'm just gonna look at the goblin. Well, we appreciate your help, sir. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we would have fared without your help. We were definitely they were quite the match for us.
So, as stated, standing before you is this greenish and gray goblin with braids of hair that are made out of brown in color, slightly in the same style as Zanashi's, but this one in a mohawk pattern. With a bone piercing in the septum, standing nearly just 4 foot tall, scrawny arms, and wearing very, very primitive and dirty clothing. He has one piece of what appears to be studded leather armor that sits upon his left shoulder, that has a few spikes placed upon it. Me, Orm. As he smells your hand, Alencia. You smell good. Me keep.
Thanks, but that's my smell, no one else's.
Sir, are you, your Orm, how did you were you tracking the lizards that came upon us? How did you find us?
Clue, just so you know, I got your message. That's totally fine. Just GM roll me a couple things, but I'll message them to you. Orm track. 1, 2, 3, near weak. And well, they slippery.
How do you GM roll from D&D Beyond?
Slash GM roll.
I mean, from D&D Beyond.
Oh, D&D Beyond.
I see what the modifier is.
Okay.
I'll just
I was
roll
gonna say I think it might be in like the options tab. You can be able to toggle it, but I I thank you for help kill. Made easy.
Well, yes, they set upon us. Are you are you're in one of the you're in one of the goblin tribes? Is that correct?
No. Me druid. Me protect.
Ah, you're one of the druids. Very nice. We've heard about you. I've never met one of the druids before. We're just passing through these lands.
You do good thing here. But must warn, no magic.
I understand. And but with what about for self protection like we did here? Is this acceptable? If attacked, may I defend myself with magic?
Yeah, of course. Why?
I
You'd
like
be
I said,
dead if you didn't.
I would indeed, but I just want to make sure that I like I said, I am a traveler through your lands. I do not wish to break any of your laws. I'm still learning them as I travel.
Hey, as this Orm begins to pull on your sleeve there, Valencia. What wrong with him? He's sick? Why blue?
No, he was born with that. That's just his skin color.
Strange.
I think we're all a bit strange.
Togo, give me an investigation check. Okay, thank you. Why
Well,
here?
Why are we here?
Mhm.
We are we are traveling, looking for stories of the old, searching for information on old stories and ships, looking to find some history. Headed south.
Lots of history.
Indeed.
Forest old.
Is it now? Very old?
Shake his head, yes. And when he does, you'll see the bone in his septum kind of just like wiggling back and forth.
Well, I assume you travel you said you protect these woods and these lands. Have you ever seen anything strange, any strange abandoned ships in the middle of the woods or in the middle of the mountains or anything like that? Somewhere where the ship shouldn't be?
Why you leave ship there?
I didn't leave the ship there, but somebody else did. Those are the things that we're looking for. They lost it and they many years ago.
You'll see him
And
kind of like breathe in, and like when he does, he'll begin to like tilt his head back. The eyes become wide, and then he'll say, Whoever left ship, they're pretty dumb.
That's why they lost them in the first place. We've been hired to try and find them.
Well, Orm know of weird thing, but it not look like ship. But it made like ship.
Really made like a ship. How?
It's wood.
Well, that is very much so like a ship. Do you have any other description of this thing?
He'll kind of just like snap his fingers pointing towards you, Modar, and be like, "Nope." But you all stay? Yeah?
Stay here? Do you think it will be safe to camp here for the night?
He'll look around, seeing all the dead. Say, well, if anything come near you with all this, then they dumb.
The dead bodies won't attract wild animals?
Oh yeah, Amble's fine.
That's the least of our worries, I think.
Yeah, true.
Look, if you scared, then just go down a little bit, but Orm come find. You meet druids.
Oh, you want us to meet the rest of the druids? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, in that case, if there are druids around, I'm sure that it will be safe. But we must be going south soon in search for what we're looking for.
When you get there, you probably find things. But Orm, go get druids.
Yes, we'll be here.
And with that, you'll see him take just a step back as his arms begin to bulge and the hair begins to take form once more as he begins transforming back into the giant ape. And then, with the thunderous footsteps, begins to make his way away. So, I will move you all back to the world map. And as he does, you'll note that he makes his way east before turning, then heading south. But as he does, you'll see him also just trample through a couple of trees as they snap a break in half, and the trunks fall while the stumps remain. And Zanashi, as like you hear this commotion going on and you take a look just to see what the ruckus is all about, you'll notice this tree and then realize that this rut that you were so certain was a boar rut may have actually been this, following the tracks of a giant ape.
Do what again?
From when you were hunting a night ago.
The board you thought you were following actually might have been the
Giant ape.
the jape.
But with that, as Modar and Alencia, you both have the conversation, you turn, you'll notice that Togo is making his way through the body, seeing if there's, perhaps anything worth note. Togo, unfortunately, you do not find anything thus far. A couple more bodies to go through, but with it being just weapons and small things of that manner. Um, Nothing else of note.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured, but I thought it would be prudent to check out just to make sure.
I do want to go to the leader and check him out and see if I can, like, was I'm trying to remember in that fight, was the leader didn't cast any spells, right?
He turned into an animal.
He turned
Oh
into
yeah,
an
he did.
animal. He
Okay, he did
also
turn.
cast that smoke, and then
Okay.
right before Togo took him out, he actually cast another spell which damaged your horse a little bit, but luckily, Togo was able to take him out with that shot.
Yeah, I am definitely gonna look him over for any magic items or things like that. Anything that might be useful to me before these druids get here.
Okay. Let me just double check, but even from Togo's roll, I don't think there's much. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no materials.
All right,
They
no, that's fine.
are
Yeah.
able to do this at will.
Well, that was an interesting encounter.
You can
Valen-
say that again.
Valencia, how are you feeling?
I don't know. I fell again. And I know I shouldn't blame myself for it. I just can't help but feel so weak every time it happens.
Look at it this way. I think Zanashi would be proud to have a bounty on her head like yours. It seems to be, yeah, strong enough that they're coming out of the woodwork. I think you may be making her jealous, to be honest.
Perhaps you're right. But I'll get over this soon enough.
They're off by themselves talking.
Yeah,
We don't know
you're
where you are.
you're still behind a tree, hidden.
Oh, I eventually come out once I'm done doing what I was trying to accomplish.
Whatever it is, we. Alencia, you can't keep running after their leaders immediately. That's the second time that you've run after them, and it's not turned out well for us.
They're the ones that are responsible.
They are the ones that are responsible, and I understand wanting to go after them, but just because you can, it doesn't mean that it's always the best option. I mean, what would have happened if both you and Zanashi had been taken down and I had to choose between the two of you? Of which one I was going to go after?
Sometimes we need to use tactics. And not saying that charging headfirst into a situation isn't a tactic, but it's not always the best one.
I walk up, I guess, as they're talking about this.
Sure.
Yes. I think Alencia is trying to outdo me. I don't know why.
I thought I was fast enough.
That's okay. It's not. We got through it. We're all alive. That is better than they can say, but it's something we need to take into consideration.
Maybe so.
Yes, and it looks like we may need a few more new mounts when we get into town.
I hope I
Rest
can
in
make
peace,
this up to you.
sweet prince. It's not that big a deal, Valencia. Like, don't worry about it. Just think about it next time.
She'll leave the heavy stuff to me, Elixir.
That's not what I'm saying. But
If you want to get yourself killed, I mean, by all means. I can't always protect you.
If it's for a good reason, I think it's worth it.
And I kind of walk over towards Valencia, put my arms around her. We almost lost you. And then I whisper in her ear, thank you for killing those snakes.
I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
Then I walk away.
I feel even more conflicted.
Conflicted about what now?
Just what to feel.
I think Valencia is like fucking bipolar or something, man.
Don't
Well-
worry about what to feel.
Maybe.
We're just
I was about to rant about how you guys are pulling her in two different directions. Jesus Christ. I'll get over this and I'll do better. That's all that matters right now.
indeed, but we must figure something out. Apparently, these druids are coming back. Zanashi, what do you know about these druids?
Only what I try to avoid them, but that's mainly because they're very strict. They're not very lenient in allowing people to do their own thing.
Yes, and I understand that they are not fans of magic users. Obviously, this one's seen those of us that can do magic, so there's no hiding that at this point. But that one in particular did not told me that it was okay to use magic in self-defense. So I'm assuming that this would qualify, considering they've been tracking these lizards for at least a week, if not more. Maybe we did them a favor here.
Maybe.
And if we did, I don't mind being owed a favor by somebody like that.
I'll try to be on my best behavior.
I would strongly recommend that, because even if we were at full strength, more than one of them, I don't think we'd have a chance at. If they're all as powerful as the one we saw here.
Well, as stated, it's still fairly early in the afternoon. Like I said, a little late morning, just around 10 a.m. Although, as you mentioned, possibly needing new mounts when you make it to the city of Raisk. This will impede your movement quite a bit in comparison. But with the druids planning on coming back and speaking with you, what is your plan? Are you going to stay here or move down the road a bit?
I think we should move so we're not smelling the starting phases of these corpses rotting for the night, and I need to sleep. I am exhausted after that much spellcasting.
Yeah, so probably move like a mile or so down the road and set up camp.
We don't even have to move that far.
Half mile. Just
Yeah, just a little ways.
Just a tad bit.
yeah, move away. Like I told him, we probably would just to get away from the bodies, and we'll set up camp and wait for the druids. I'm not looking to make enemies out of the ruling faction in this area. Not unless we absolutely have to.
I mean, I'm not entirely against it if it's something that we realize isn't going to impede us that much, but if we can kind of nod and smile and make our way through, and if we have to break some rules in the down low, we can break some rules in the down low, but
Yeah, exactly.
Are we still at the same area, or have we moved on?
Just a little bit away.
We're close
Like-
enough we can still get stuff done. Yeah, we're just kind of going probably a quarter of a mile, half mile down the road to set up camp. So
maybe a 5-minute
Okay.
walk or 10-minute walk, if that.
I got some of this lizard skin here. Yeah, if anyone needs to go, like number 2, I've got some kind of a special ritual that I'm performing that I cut a piece of this lizard skin, and if you wouldn't mind pooping on it.
wait, excuse me?
Can I see the lizard skin actually?
I'll show it to him.
If I feel it, does it feel like soft and like supple, like a snakeskin boot sort of thing?
Maybe not as soft because those are a bit, like worn. This is just, more fresh. So, while it's still got like a soft tendency, it's not exactly the same. Relatively, though.
Got it.
I'm assuming that you've held some type of reptile at one point in your life or another.
I would think so.
No, I mean like as you.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, so like kind of like that.
I wonder if you could make some boots out of these. Those would be nice.
I mean, you can make boots out of just about anything if you want, if you skin it right.
That's fair.
So with all, I want to know, do I think she is completely bullshitting me right now, but wanting us to shit in this skin for some sort of ritual? Do I have any idea what she might be talking about?
I would say from your like arcane knowledge, you would know that it's not anything of that manner, but perhaps this is a customary feature down here.
I'll incite this.
Zanashi, you can send me a GM roll.
Togo's just going along with it, just kind of nodding.
Add 2.
Yeah, I mean, Valencia, it's for a type of ritual. It's maybe odd, but it's for a ritual.
What does this ritual do?
It'll bring us good luck. Well, mostly you all, since you're not from the area. Um, it'll give you all, to others that are from the region, a sense of belonging here.
I think I'm fine, thank you.
Modar's intrigued by the situation, so he'll take some skin to take care of it later on when he needs to.
As you wish, Alexia.
And then Modar's gonna start flipping through the book that he bought to see what else he can kind of get out of it. Start reading the story.
Okay. So as you begin reading, it just talks about, like once upon a time, yada yada. But what I will say is that this will take, like roughly an hour depending on how in depth you want to get with it. But if you can give me an intelligence check, and then I'm guessing the rest of you are going to be setting up some type of camp or. Ooh, nice roll.
Yep. Just setting up camp, doing my normal kind of camp routine, taking care of my instruments, probably stretching out and seeing if I can find any kind of like small stream or something to wash some of this lizard blood off of my body.
I've set up camp and used any leftover time to just sew the black jacket back up.
Yeah, and I'd like try and do mending on my mend my clothes if I can. And
How do your clothes always look so brand new?
who, me?
Yeah. You were hit a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the tears?
Constant vigilance. And you notice that there's like a small spot that like flickers and it looks like there's a tear, and I kind of put my hand back over it, and suddenly it looks like it's back to being sewn together.
She looks back at her coat and the numerous amount of stitch marks it has on it. Well, you must be better at it than I am, or something.
It's a lot of sewing, but they stay mostly together. And for the most part, I don't get my party clothes involved in any kind of fights. So that's how that my performance stuff stays nice.
I wish the way I did things was more subtle the way you do it. But,
Everyone has different different strengths.
it's fine, though. I don't think I'll ever let this jacket go. And she puts it back on.
Kind of nod my head to her in acknowledgement and go back to oiling my instruments and cleaning my sewing up some of my clothes and stuff like that. Just general camp stuff.
Sanashi, did you want to take care of anything in particular?
Only if anybody's pooped. Then I want to go back to that tree.
Got it. I guess they'll have to let you know.
Nope, I have not.
Modar, as you get into the book, you get a couple of chapters in within about an hour's time. The beginning, mainly talking about Tempest being an ambassador at the Elista dynasty, with 4 other ambassadors: Tiz, an Azamar; Mogan, a Goliath; Zolos, a Triton; and Severus, a Luxodon. And as each of them had set out exploring the new lands that each of you know today as the world of Elista, they ran into numerous tasks. While they are going about, the only other mention that you pick up is them serving under a young prince, a child at the age of 8, referred to as Prince Chula.
Chula. And what did you say those races were? Triton, Exit, and an Exodon?
Luxodon.
Alexodon. Do I know what that is? Do I recognize that?
I would say that you definitely have read about them, but you've definitely not seen any in person. Um, Especially never leaving Vala before. But
But is it something that I expect to be like a real race, or is it like us and like the real world and elves, like something that everybody kind of knows about, but it's known to be like a
well,
fantasy type
from
thing?
the races that were listed, the there are none practically that you know of from the ones that are in the book. So maybe they're extinct. Perhaps they're just off somewhere else for who knows whatever reason. I don't know. But you're uncertain, I guess, if they're still, I guess, like races of those people still moving about.
Gotcha.
I forget, the lizard folk did not speak common, correct? They were speaking another language when they were saying things.
That is correct.
Okay. Just trying to make sure I remembered what all and categorized what all was available to me as we heard it.
The conversations that were going back and forth that Modar was able to hear, I mean, he relayed the gist of it from what he passed along. They seem to
Yeah.
be there to capture Alencia.
Yeah, they were here for Alencia. They were trying to get gone before the druids came for them, and they knew the druids would be there soon. And if they could capture us, they would, but they were fine with killing us.
Interesting. Huh. Oh well. Besides that, Tokyo's just gonna start resting.
Got it.
Yeah, and Modar is basically staying into this book because he's not really sure if he's studying spells and stuff like that, and these druids show up, whether that's going to be a problem or not. So he figures this is the safest way for him to get information right now and not feel like a complete waste while just relaxing for the rest of the day.
We'll just move along a bit, and I will just move like a couple of hours in case there's anything else that you would like to get done. But as the sun reaches midday, there are no signs of any druids returning, nor have you seen anyone making their way up or down the road that you are on.
Have we been passing travelers regularly since we've left Mido?
No, not when you left Mido.
Well,
But if you're gonna continue that book, what I will need is just one more intelligence check from you. Ooh, even better roll. With the main focus, as it does mention other ambassadors in this book that are traveling with Tempest, the main focus of this novel seems to just be on Tempest. In their first adventure, heading east from the Elysium Dynasty Island, after constructing a ship that took a few years to get ready to make their way across the open ocean, and while doing so, they also began preparing and making new weapons and armor. But with the first part that you get to being about Tempest helping Mogan find more of the Goliath people. But you'll get to that part just roughly 3 to 4 hours as the sun has begun to make its way down. If nobody else has anything, we will just move on. Just wanted to double check before skipping too far. But as the sun begins to make its way down is when I will need a perception check from each of you.
Perception. What's up with me in the 14th tonight?
So while it's pretty quiet while each of you are relaxing, tending to your clothing and just some of your wounds, patching things up here and there, each of you will hear a bit of a rustle in a bush, and as you both peer over towards your east side, you will see Orm walk out. Hi! And as he does, he will be followed by a female elf. I'm going to go through it slow just because I'm sure you guys are going to write it down. A male orc, a male human, and then a centaur. These druids. And as he gestures over towards the elf, this Solace, the orc, Boar, me Orm. As he gestures to the human, the male human, he says, Wes, and that nice one is Jiprig.
well, it is nice to meet you all.
just other than their individual like characteristics, you'll note that each of them are wearing roughly the same attire as you saw Orm wearing when you had first met him. The very, very primitive clothing that's quite messy and worn out, and then the bit of the studded leather shoulder pad on the left side. But the human will step forward and say, "Well, hello. My name is Wes. I've heard that each of you have taken care of our issues with those lizard folk. I thank you for what each of you have done."
Well, it wasn't necessarily intentional, but I'm glad we could be of help anyways. It was kind of almost a, they came upon us as we were traveling and it was a, oh god, instead of a, oh, we'll be helpful.
Hopefully they don't. They learn not to mess with people like us or you in the future.
I mean, I don't know how much they learned. I don't think they can really learn anymore.
Well, unfortunately, no, but
We do know that they're not very smart, to say the least, but definitely a bit dangerous. Always seem to be moving in quite a bit of numbers. Not that I have to tell each of you.
No, that's. Do you have many of the? Was that a tribe or a hunting party? Out here traveling these wilds? Are those what are they? The lizard people, I guess. I'm not sure what you call those down here. I'm not familiar with the species myself.
We deem them lizard folk, but well, to be honest, I have no idea what they're saying as they whip their tongues back and forth. But that did seem to be a quite a decent-sized hunting squad. They normally travel in a bit less numbers, but I've seen even more than what each of you had run into. Well, according to Orm, as he looks down over towards his goblin friend, and Orm just like waves and smiles. As he does, you will see that he has very sharp fangs, and then Orm will make his way over towards you, Alencia, once again, and say, "Ah, do I look nice?" And as he looks at you, he'll kind of just lift his head up so this way you can see him a bit better, and you will notice that he has red and blue paint outlining his eyes that go down to his jawbone.
I think you look great.
Oh, don't flatter him too much, as Wes pipes in. And it does seem that he's taking a bit of a liking to you. It's better not to flatter the little one. But what are each of your names?
I'll kind of stand up and with a short bow. My name's Togo. I'm a traveling performer and entertainer of sorts. Welcome to meet you, or pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I am Modar of the just traveling, looking for information on for my guild.
Alencia will bow deeply and say, "My name is Alencia. Please let me know if you need my service."
And I'm speaking to who again? Is it the orc?
Wes, the human.
My name is Zanashi of the Jamalia tribe.
That's when you'll hear the orc pipe up. Huh? What? What you say?
I said I was from the Jamalia tribe, which was wiped out when I was just a baby.
They wiped out by Skull Clan, right?
Yes.
They know you alive?
Hmm. Who knows?
If Winnog know you alive, you not safe here.
Who's going to challenge me? They don't want me coming back to the tribe because I will take it over. Min's not going to rule me no more.
Well, that's last I heard, but I think they think you dead.
All the better.
Well, if you have a former tribesperson with each of you, then I assume you know a bit more about these lands than some of our other neighboring folks.
Zanashi has given us some information, and we are using her as a guide through these lands. But to be truthful, I don't have much information on your lands, and I do not mean any offense if I have caused any by defending myself.
Oh no, none whatsoever. If anything were to ever endanger your life, your well-being, or anything of the sort, I would expect anybody to do the same. Luckily for you, Orm is a good little lad, and, well, he noted what he had come up upon as each of you were, well, from what he described, piling up the dead.
There was a number of them, that is. Orm did not speak falsely.
Yes, and he did help us with the last few. We'd taken out most of the weaker ones. Only the strong were left at the end when he arrived.
Orm
Their
will just
leader was
pipe up. No, I only killed the crocodile thing. The other one I just threw.
that's
like a
true.
rock.
You did throw him.
But he was running.
Yes, indeed. And that one you threw did do a little damage to some others too. It was actually quite impressive to see. You had us scared for a minute. Didn't know if it was their reinforcements or not. They did say that the druids were chasing them and they were trying to be quick about it, but
You speak their tongue.
well, it's more accurate to say they speak the tongue of the dragons. I've learned in my studies learn how to speak and read Draconic over the years, and that's the language that they're using, or that they were using.
Interesting. Perhaps you could be a bit more used to us than we may have initially thought.
Do you know why these lizard folk would want to capture someone like me out of everybody here?
What
Probably look
would they
delicious.
want with you?
I'm curious myself.
Well, to be honest, I'm quite unsure if what my orcish friend here is saying, if your Skull Clan tribe does perhaps know that you're alive, maybe hearing word one way or another, perhaps they were looking for her.
But if Rug Dump wants me, he can come find me.
Do they often work as mercenaries?
No, but my guess would be if they were making their way more out and about and spreading farther, they're looking for an area, a good hunting ground to be able to set up a more of a civilized area.
From what you said, it seems like that's not normal for them to be looking for civilized areas.
No, it's not. But the only thing that can 100% to be certain of is that they are coming from the west of Risk, just out of the forest and the tree lines. We've found a cave, cavern that they seem to have nestled in and, well, are calling home for now.
How many are inside that cavern cave? Is it a large number of them, or?
Well, that is exactly what I was hoping, Modar. Yes, that that you could help with. It seems that you and your friends are more than capable of defending yourselves, and, well, if you were able to perhaps find a peaceful solution if one is able to be met. If not, perhaps you could dispose of them for us.
You said that they're all very skilled warriors for the most part.
Indeed.
Well, at the moment, Mito is looking for warriors. So it could be beneficial to everybody down here if we were able to move them from here to fight somewhere else.
That's an idea.
What is Mito looking for warriors for?
There's a war going on near Lales. Apparently, the Yonti have risen up and are attacking people, or they've been attacking the city of Lales, and Lales is calling for aid, and Mito is helping with that.
And what would Samira want to help Lales for?
I don't know her exactly what they're doing. I would assume gold, but you'd have to check with her about that. Unless you had a better idea, Togo.
I mean, it is an idea, and I don't know how much they're paying in terms of gold, but I'm sure Samira could make some kind of promises. She was very willing to make exceptions and work deals when it came to helping out with the war effort, which...
Well, do you have a message, a note perhaps from her?
I'm not sure. Do we have a note from her? Zanashi? Toga? Or,
I don't...
Modor?
I don't know how to read.
I don't believe she didn't. I don't think she gave us a note. She did ask us to try and send any of the tribes and convince the tribes to join their fight.
If we were able to. But...
If we were able to. And if we were able to help the city out, she did say that she was willing to allow us to move around the city without the pins.
Which for her seemed like a pretty big
Are you
deal,
telling him that, or are you just talking as a player?
I'm just talking as a player right now.
Yes, I was gonna say, like, you'll see an odd face come across, like, Wes's face.
I'm just looking for my notes right now. No, I don't believe she gave us any written note. She just asked us to, as we traveled south, to see if we could aid with their war effort, and she would compensate us if we could convince any of the tribes to join the join the fight. There was indeed posters attached to the wall to various buildings inside the city, but I did not take any for myself.
Well, I have no reason to doubt you, but without any formal writing or offer, I'm afraid I can't offer any further assistance with such things. We would
I
be
think
able to
what
need to promise and have a fulfillment be able to be held by the requesting party.
to be fair, when we asked about compensation, her compensation that she offered was glory and honor, so I don't know how much she's willing to dig into her own pocketbooks to help out Lales.
Oh, I would never expect her to be helping Lales for Lales. I'm sure she's receiving some sort of compensation for it.
I would
Uh,
assume so, but
but just out of curiosity, I understand that you rule these lands. The cities themselves, you allow them to rule themselves, or do you still lord over the cities?
We see over the city of Raisk as well. While we're not there, we have a captain that takes charge, uh, head of the guard.
I
Scrolling
understand.
through my notes so I can give you a name. 1 second. Oh, I should have remembered this because I laughed when I made up the name. Um, Captain Chilson, and I laughed because I was like, "Chill, son." I don't know why.
And you don't have such an individual in Mito to keep you informed as to what's going on there?
He'll
I just
shake
don't
his.
think they have somebody who they can't make a promise of an offer to make a deal off of with somebody if they don't have information of what that could entail.
Well, no, my point is this is the first thing. Like in Mito, everyone's talking about this war, and if this is the first thing you're hearing, either you don't have an officer, or you have an officer that's not giving you information.
We don't have one in Mito, no.
No, okay, that was that was what I was getting at. Well, is Mito in your then? Mito is still in your. I know that there were laws against using magic in Mito as well. I assume that was because you oversaw Mito.
My assumption was that was just a association and following of the same rules, but I was under the impression Mito was more self governed.
That is absolutely correct. They see the way that we govern the tribes here and keep peace. The tribes oversee a day to day and their immediate quarries within each of their own tribes. But if any issues arise from one of the other corresponding tribes, then we step in for counsel. And as far as the prohibiting magic, that seems to be, well, the deciding factor if one side is able to take over another. And we believe that each of the tribes should be able to live in peace with one another.
Indeed, absolutely. I believe peace is the best way. With the practicing of magic, I am asking this as a traveler through your lands, and I understand that we cannot perform magic other than self defense. Is it permitted for me to read and learn my spells and add them and study magic while we travel, or should I cease all of those activities while traveling through your lands?
I would prefer you cease those activities while here. But if you so happen to have an inkling to open and crack that book of yours, make sure there's no wandering eyes. You might create a bit of an issue with some of the other civilians in the city.
I believe I understand what you're saying. I
What
will
he's saying
not
is,
create.
if there's any eyes, then poke them out.
Zanashi, no.
I mean, that's one way of saying it.
We will not be blinding the individuals of their civilization. I promise you that, sir. Don't. She speaks before she talks sometimes.
This is when you'll hear the centaur, that's been completely quiet along with the elf practically the entire time while having this conversation, give a bit of a snicker and just, I like her.
Eyeballs make good snacks, especially elven eyes.
Turn
I
'em into
bet
jelly.
she'd like the tavern. Big brawls.
And Modar will actually kind of turn to the elf, and I'm surprised to see any elves at all down here with their natural inclinations towards magic and that being frowned upon here. I wouldn't think that they would elves would settle in these lands.
Not all elves look upon everything the same. One with your knowledge and capability of resources with books should understand. I am the only elf until I die and my replacement comes and follows.
So you don't train replacements until after you're dead? Doesn't that weaken your power while the apprentice trains?
Well, we do train, of course. We keep an eye out on some potentially gifted individuals. But as for me, we will send word to Glentz when my time is near.
Do you know?
Glentz, is that your home city?
She'll nod. Yes.
That's where I was from too.
A trow from Glentz. And you'll see that she begins to, look into your eyes quite sternly. And you get roughly the same feeling that you would be quite accustomed to. And it is that looming glare of a just drow being in Glentz. What is she doing here?
I'm going to respond and say, of course, drow are naturally from the Underdark, but I don't consider myself a part of them. That's why I said I was from Glentz. I spent most of my life there. They saved me and protected me.
Is Glentz in this realm?
Yes, it is. It is just on practically the other side of the world.
until they didn't.
It's covered up for you right now because you do not have a map for there.
Oh no, I get that. No, okay, so I guess okay. When I said realm, I meant like their territory, the druids' territory.
Oh no, that's just a different city.
That protection didn't last long, though. I was accused of murder, and I ran away from there. Prejudice doesn't escape me.
You are, of course, innocent, aren't you, Valencia?
Of course.
So then you're not from these lands, but yet you rule over them. That's very interesting.
I assist in doing so. I
Is
am
it
just one voice of the 5.
But yet you still rule, and the people here are not free to do as they wish.
Wes will cut in. In what manner do you mean?
Well, a perfect example would be someone wanting to do magic. From what I've seen, not all magic is destructive. Some magic has the ability to heal others.
Or turn people invisible.
Or turn them invisible when they I won't go there.
Well, they seem to have a handle on it. They seem to be very understanding and wise as when it comes to the appropriate time to use magic.
This is what we have practiced for over 1,000 years. And this is what has kept the peace. As far as I'm concerned, if the rest of Elista has adopted this method, then that war in Laels you speak of, perhaps that would not even be taking part.
Perhaps it's taking part because the people are tired of being ruled, told what to do.
Well, I'm sorry, Zanashi, but you said that you've had peace for over 1,000 years. What was going on before that? I'm not familiar with your history down here. One of the reasons we're here, looking to learn about the rest of the world.
That story is long. But it is once said that a great warrior sought forth to bring this area into a peaceful harmony. Unfortunately, she was stopped before she was able to accomplish such things. And with the destruction of her, through the use of the arcane arts, the others around deemed it that this should never happen again, thus creating the rule and setting forth a new era of peace.
And what happened to those that stopped her?
Eventually, from the stories I've been told ever since being a child, he was stopped, but not before nearly killing almost all living life in the world.
Do I recognize any parts of this from anything I've read or any old histories or fairy tales or anything like that that I know from Vala. As soon as they say something that happened in the whole world, so.
No, unfortunately not.
Well, thank you for the lesson. I don't know if your friend Orm here told you or not, but one of the reasons we are here is I am looking for um, old ships that may be not necessarily near water. Looking to find any information on the civilizations that would have left them behind, and looking to find these ships. They would be very old, almost probably more ruins than anything at this point.
Ruins, you say? Approximately what era are you thinking? A few hundred? Maybe 5?
Mm,
Around 1200.
yeah.
Yes, more around the era that you were to your war, your 1,000 years, or possibly even before that.
Nothing that comes to mind. But the person that you may want to speak with on any of those manners, well, you'll find her in Race. She tends to drink a bit here and there, and I'm sure she'll be at the tavern. Well, with the brawl being in a few days.
What brawl?
Hear the centaur pipe up. Fight for money. As he just like punches his hand and his fist into his hand.
Is he a centaur or a minotaur?
A centaur.
Centaur.
Okay.
The Minotaur was in the other group we came across.
Correct.
How much money are we talking?
For you, none. Win or get lots of gold.
Well, then, count me in. You better bring your best.
Well, and what was the name of this woman? I'm sorry.
Oh, Sanzor. Or, Sanzer, if you wish. A female, human. Yeah, you can't miss her. Beautiful long copper hair. And, well, she doesn't have a drink in her hand. Best to get her one before breaking any sort of conversation.
Any favorite drinks I should know?
Anything with alcohol.
Stronger the better.
That's usually a good way to go about it.
I will remember that. Thank you.
Well, we shall take care of the rest of our our duties while out and about. We shall be back in Risk within time to make it for the brawl ourselves.
And-
Fair sports, fun to watch.
Understand. And if we did go towards the these lizard folk, would you prefer to accompany us there, or would you like us to do this and you essentially want them gone, correct? Or you just want them tamed?
As I said, if there's a diplomatic solution that can be had, I'm sure that we'd be able to accommodate them within our within our rule one way or another. If they don't wish to find such common grounds, well, unfortunately, they can't stay here. As far as us going with you, if you find it necessary, then we shall discuss further things when back in a more comfortable setting. But
I understand. Join, leave or die. I
The wild
understand.
hunt.
precisely. Well, if there's nothing else that any of us can be of a service for, I do believe our introduction is completed. We shall make our departure and continue our endeavor. As he kind
Indeed.
of gives you like a little swirl of the hand as he begins to take a bow.
And I will bow as well, showing respect to them.
Same.
Togo will give us a nod of his head, but not a full bow.
I'll just walk out.
And Togo, you will hear just like the centaur pipe up, or that one's smaller than you, as they begin to make their way away. Orm climbing onto the back of Jiprig. And as the 5 druids begin to make their way away, walking off to the northwest, heading towards the tree line before the trees block them from your sight, we'll go ahead and take our break here and be back in just a few moments. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
So, be back in just about 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and continue our story. So, be right back. All right. So, slightly distracted with exchanging some funny stories, but we're back. With that, the 5 druids had just taken their leave, disappearing off into the tree lines. At this point, each of you had waited quite a few hours for them to come meet up and speak with each of you. The sun is making its way down. You would have guessed that you'd have maybe an hour of travel from after breaking down your camp, all of that good stuff, but perhaps you all just would like to stay and wait here for the night instead.
I am fine just
Yeah.
calling it there. It has been a long day.
Certainly.
I'll just give the last of my. Alencia will make this just a habit to make sure everyone's gotten their full heals. So she'll just, like, before we rest, rather. So she will use the last of her key to top off Zanashi. And oh, sorry, that's wrong. It should be this one. There you go. And then the last 2 free ones we get are for me and Modar.
I had no damage.
Yeah, I was gonna
was
say, I don't
fine.
think Modar got hit.
My horse needs healing. If you want to heal my horse, you can do that.
She doesn't want anyone to be left out, so that's why she heals everybody.
Togo, you alright?
No. Oh, wait, did you say you healed me? I missed that if you did.
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay. Because you had already healed me for the once per day?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, as Togo, I guess, is still in a tad bit of pain, a couple of hours goes by before the sun begins to set and moving on into the night. So, with that in mind, if we're keeping the same watch order, let me know. But if not, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I think so. And we're getting a short rest now, correct? Or attempting to.
Well, each of you would have relaxed for nearly 8 hours at this point, so the short rest after the combat and then just relaxing after getting, the camp set up. The only actual activity it has been reading and just a bit of conversation, so your short rest will almost be fully completed.
Awesome.
Into the short rest, into the watch order.
I thought you said march order for a second. I was like, wait a second, what? No, okay, yeah, no. I think we are good on that.
Our watch order set all the way back in August. Seems like forever ago. But with that, then Modar and Togo will take the first watch after your meals have been eaten. So make sure you minus a ration from your inventory list, and then we'll begin the watch order. but as we do move into the watch order, like the short rest time of the 8 hours needed to sit and relax will be completed. So, with that in mind, as we were going over before we started the session, each of you are at the 6,606, which does put you at level 5.
I think in order to do that, I think we have to go to long rest in order to activate that. Correct?
Yeah, so when you level up, it'll be the same as a long rest. So as each of you are like reflecting on the day's battle and your adventures thus far, you will begin to move forward in your experience.
What I do is I click the little
Ooh.
settings thing up there beside your name, character name,
Yep.
and hit manage levels and change it from 4 to 5, and then go down if you got any extra stuff you got that you need to pick. It'd be towards
Gotcha.
the bottom of the list, and so on and so forth.
Well, Lindsay, I'm very sorry about your health roll.
That's fine. 3 HP isn't bad.
Wow. I'll take the average, buddy.
I rolled 8s before. It's just balance of karma happening right now.
And what is it to level 6? 14,000?
Well, we just had to get 6 for this level. I don't think it's that high.
14,000. From 6,000 to 14,000.
Damn it, man. I guess it is.
Oh shit! Did I never chose my? Oh, I thought we were going to 5th level now, man.
We are.
I thought we
are.
were going to 4th level, not 5th level. Did I never choose my?
I mean, if
abilities?
you want to be at 4th level, you can.
No, I got you. No, I'm just realized that I never choose my ability score before. That's why I sent you that message, because that's at 4th level, not 5th.
Yeah, I thought you were debating on whether or not like dumping the ASI to take that, and that's why you were asking. And then you were like,
No.
"Oh, they're optional," and I was like, my immediate thought process was, I didn't even know they were optional. I've always used them.
Well, no, that's definitely in the optional rules, but that's why. But at the same time, I just looked, and when I got to this next level thing, it says that I haven't chosen that. So, well, then I will go there. I guess I didn't.
You may have like picked a feat or something.
Well, no,
And
I
you forgot
didn't.
about
That's why I say, and underneath the
No, he was
D&D
thinking
Beyond,
of it.
no, I was gonna choose a feat, and that's what I was doing. But double check. Do you have the notes on our other, like, to see where my stats should be? I want to know if I maybe took it and forgot. mark it.
I can.
It would be on D&D Beyond, man.
Yeah,
on
it would.
ASI,
It would
show
indicate that you have an ASI.
Yeah, you would have had to pick. The
Yes,
stats.
yeah, and I never did. So I get that means I never did. Cool. All right. Well, I'm doing this late then.
Well, I honestly just thought you took a feat, and that's why I thought you were like on it, like debating it as well, kind of thing. Oh.
Yeah, because it would show whether you took a feat, and if you took the ASI, it's just drop down menus. You can't.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. No. And I never chose it. Yeah. I didn't.
I played a monk at level 6 while still rolling d4s for unarmed strikes. Because I never realized.
We've all made mistakes. I think my first character that I made, I didn't add con to my health rolls, and I never added my proficiency to like my attacks or damage for like almost 5 levels.
Damn.
That's a good
Hey,
time.
my heals do more and my punches hit more, so I truly have leveled up because I now attack twice, heal more, punch more, and can stun.
Yay.
Level 3 spells.
Yay. Zanashi gets 2 attacks.
Damn, Skippy.
All the enemies are going, oh no. And Modar, you're gonna you get double your cantrip damage dice, which is a lovely thing.
Yes, and I get 3rd level spells.
Level 5 such a good level.
Now, do I just take Fireball like every wizard does, or should I try and be a little more creative?
Take Water Ball. It's the opposite of Fireball. I will just give you each like a brief moment if you want to just take like a tad bit of time to make sure you add the particular things that you need, and if you have any questions, Zanashi seems to have a very, very good handle on the D&D Beyond sheet, so if there's something I can't answer, I'm sure that she can. But what I will say is it's very, very interesting on the amount of time, like if you look back to like when you guys like first started to like where we are now, you've like from when you got like we first started playing, it's almost been a full month of game time. Maybe even just a little bit longer.
Huh. That is pretty good.
Which again, like I was saying, like when like we were talking about like the gritty realism makes it a bit more interesting in the aspect versus like, oh, there's one large city here and it takes 2 days to get to the next large city. It's very odd for older civilizations, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But does anybody have any questions or anything for their level? I know that, you guys are all experienced players, but just in case there's any snags on the D&D Beyond.
No, I'm good.
I might be messing around with my spells for a little bit here, just to double check I'm choosing what I want, but besides that, I'm set to keep going, and I'll mess with this in the background.
Yeah, the same way. Yeah, I'm just double checking which spells I'm gonna grab here.
Yeah, I'm good too.
You're trying to figure out what spells you're going to get, Zanashi?
Yep.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Sleep? Payback time. But, so I do believe with the first watch being Modar and Togo, can both of you give me a perception check while you're going about your watch?
Who was with Modar? Oh, never mind.
Yes. Got me a cat nap. Feel much better.
Nice. Togo. Well, Modar is thumbing through his spell book and jotting down some notes. You happen to catch the sound of a rustle in a bush. It sounds as if the bush itself is shaking as you hear the rustle of leaves.
What direction, like, is it coming from?
Off to your west.
Off to my west. I'll point over at Modar and say, "You hear that?" With a message.
And I'll respond with a message. No, what is it?
Thought I heard something. It could just be something moving through the underbrush. I don't know. But I'll kind of move my crossbow a little closer to me and stand up and look around, look that direction, but probably not leave the camp.
So as you take a look over, you do happen to catch what you assume to be a pair of eyes. Two ovals, yellow in color, that are within a bush about 20 feet off to your west. And as soon as you feel that you've made like eye contact, the color disappears and you see another rustle in the bush.
Hmm. Does it go off like away from the camp?
It definitely went like from the tree line, but from the sounds, it's still fairly close by. And you hear
The-
another sound. Modar, you pick this one up too, off to the north side. Another rustle of bushes.
I'm gonna point in the direction that I think I hear it and say hello there with the message to see if I can get lucky and catch it.
What fuck? Hi?
Hi, how you doing?
And then you'll hear a rustle of a bush as you see a goblin head poke its head out. How you hear me?
I have very good ears. How did you hear me?
In my head.
I mean, that's where I hear most of my things. It's where I think too. I do everything but talk inside my head, really.
Shh, you know, see? And then the goblin will tuck its head back into the bush.
Here, why don't you come into our camp and we'll not see you from inside our camp?
You hear a voice, Modar, you'll hear this as well, down to like the southwest, where you saw that pair of eyes, Togo. It just shout, "Shut up, Jib!"
Huh? Well, I guess it doesn't seem like a bad idea.
But then it will go quiet.
Hmm. Point over at Modar. We're definitely being watched by somebody. Doesn't sound like they're very intelligent, though.
Goblins, maybe.
Mm-hmm. At least one. And we'll let the others sleep while they can. If something else happens, we can wake them up, but...
Yes, indeed. I understand. Anyways, we need to get our sleep. I'm not sure how good of any of us are gonna be. We're not. Hopefully, they'll not attack. And I'll go ahead and stoke the fire a little bit more. I'm assuming we've got some sort of fire going.
Modar, as you're, taking care of the fire, as you make your way over, you will see a rock fly right over your shoulder and then into the fire pit.
Now that's just rude, and I will go ahead and if you're going to attack us, know that I will defend myself with magic if need be.
Play a song.
Play a song. Okay. And I'll pull out my lute and just kind of softly strum, but not actually sing.
Okay. Can you give me a performance check?
I can do that.
Nice roll. And as you like kind of just play a little bit of tune, strumming along, you will just hear some humming coming from in the off in the distance. But you're able to pick up there's like a bit of a harmonization indicating that there is more than one out there. But soon enough, it is time for Sanashi's watch.
So we've already got, like, we've been resting for most of the day. We're just sleeping through the night, right?
Correct. Like was figuring that was the plan.
I'm gonna stay up with Sanashi for the first hour of her watch.
Okay.
What's wrong, Togo? Not sleepy?
No, there's something out there. Some kind of a couple of people wandering around out there. They never came into camp, and I only saw a glimpse of them. But
Hmm.
yeah,
What do they look like by the glimpse you got?
big round yellow eyes. And then they sounded almost maybe goblin-like in when they spoke.
Would I know from being from this region what they possibly are, DM?
Um, from the description, it does sound to indeed be goblins.
And are goblins typically hostile in my homeland?
From when you had left, there was not a fully established goblin tribe, but from the information that Togo had passed along from his friends back in Mido, you would know that the goblin tribe in the area to be quite hostile.
Well, I guess we need to keep an eye on these buggers. Little
Yeah,
nuisances.
if they're not actually bothering us, I didn't think that we needed to do anything, but I figured we might as well keep 2 people watching this evening.
Certainly. Did you get my message, Kyle?
Your spirit animal. I believe so. Let me just look into it, but I'll give you a definitive answer here shortly.
Okay. Some of these, they'll allow you to change them. So I was kind of actually curious on that.
We'll say I'll from just a quick look, I don't see why not.
Okay. Tough giving up that resistance to all damage except psychic, but I kind of like this other one.
I don't know. Personally, I would take the damage, man.
I know, man. It's a risk. So I guess I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for these goblins that he's seen.
Any more sightings of the goblins, or just?
Each of you can give me another perception check if you'd like, since Togo, you're staying up.
Because I figured it wouldn't be a point of exhaustion because we've already been resting all day long. So.
Sanashi, even though they are being quite, I think he rolled a persuasion check there, Togo.
Yeah, he
I
did.
did.
He's trying to persuade me to look hard.
Yes, and you did indeed. But while they're being very, very quiet, you do spot both two sets of eyes. One off to the north, just about like northwest, maybe 15, 20 feet away off into the bushes, and one to the southwest, about the same distance. Both just looking and observing the camp.
Togo. We still have visitors. There's two of them watching us, so I'm going to get up and walk off like I'm going to use the, like I'm going to go take a pee. I'm going to walk in the general direction of one of them. And if you see me start to swing my weapon, wake everybody up.
Do you see where they are?
Yeah, and I'll try to be discreet about, just kind of face
See
to
the tree
face
with the
with
funny-
Togo and take my finger, like, between me and him.
You see
Kinda
the tree
point.
with the funny face looking knob coming out of it. Look below that one to the small bush with the that kind of descriptions.
Yeah.
When you go out, I'm gonna try and sneak out the east side of our camp and loop up and around. And if I hear you start yelling, I'll come in and start a stabbing as well, and we'll probably wake up Modar and
All right, so
balance you a little bit.
with each of you moving like stealthily and kind of nonchalantly, as you said, Sanashi, Togo, can you give me a stealth check? And Sanashi, can you give me a performance check?
Yeah, because I'm not trying to be stealthy. I don't want to look like I'm suspicious at all.
I was using
Come
you
in.
as a distraction to, because if they're watching, it'd be hard to sneak away.
So, Togo, you scamper off to the east. Zanashi, you feel pretty confident in this performance. You're making your way over nonchalantly. Place your hand upon the tree. You're like just a couple feet away from the bush. You hear a bit of a rustle.
I draw my weapon back and I leap at what it is, but I'm going to try to hit it with my weapon, but the blunt part of my weapon, try to
Okay.
not kill it.
Go ahead and roll an attack for me as you dive into the bushes, swinging the blunt end of your great axe. All right, go ahead and roll me damage. And you just as you dive in, and swing the handle of the great axe of the elf mutilator into the bush, you hear a solid connection, and the only sound that the goblin gets to make is just a as it looks over. You catch its eyes looking quite confused as you strike it, knocking it unconscious. You hear a sound off to the north. Oh no! And you just hear a scamper making its way off to the west.
How much time have I had to get around? I'm assuming I'm pretty far away from where I'm hearing the scampering.
Yeah, you're roughly about like 30 to 40 foot away.
Okay.
How far away am I?
Because you went off like in the other distance, probably like roughly about the same. Togo's looping back around, and you just kind of went down to the south versus the north.
Okay, so overall, how far away am I from where the other goblin was?
Your estimate probably about 35 foot.
35 foot?
Mhm.
I am going to try to chase it.
Okay, go ahead and just give me a perception check. Togo, you as well. Both of you catch this little goblin scampering off to the west, and with Zanashi, you having a bit more speed, you are going to be able to catch up fairly quickly. Togo be able to keep roughly the same distance from you.
Oh, I'm going to catch up in one round.
Oh yeah.
I have 55 foot of movement on my round now, and I'm going to take a bonus action to dash. So,
Oh god.
Oh, okay, so you did go elk.
oh yeah, but I ain't raging, so I don't have the extra 15.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
So
do have to
80
be
foot.
raging.
I got 80 foot of movement right now.
Well, you will catch
bonus.
back up, and as this one is just moving away, Scamper making the little footsteps, going across the grassland, jumping over little branches, stones here and there. You will close the gap fairly quickly. What would you like to do?
I am going to attempt to grapple this Joker.
Okay, go ahead and give me an athletics check. And as you swing your arm down, you grab this one by the back of like the collar area, and as you lift him up with quite a bit of ease, this goblin will just be still running in the air, moving his arms back and forth. Then look over. Oh, shit.
You're coming back with me, you little snooper.
What happened to Jeff?
I knocked him out.
You not eat?
I'm not going to eat you or your friend. I just want to talk to you.
Oh, me, Bob. Friend. As he extends his hand, you see that the fingers, very, very thin nails, retreating out quite a bit. And a very odd smile on his face.
Well, I'm talking to him as I'm carrying his ass back to camp.
Yeah, and he's just swinging back and forth in your hand almost like a lantern.
Togo, grab some rope.
I was at the other side of the camp, but as soon as I hear Zanashi start charging, I'm going to try and wake up Modar and Alencia.
Okay, so as soon as you hear Zanashi just take off in that full sprint, you'll wake up the others. So, just about the time Zanashi is making her way back to camp, you're finishing waking up Alencia as you hear Zanashi call out for the rope.
I'll
What?
try and make my way over and see if I can help restrain.
We had some snoopers, Valencia, and I caught them. I didn't kill them. Oh, I mean, you're the one who kills. I just try to be civil about it.
Right, that's how this works.
I look at Bob.
Whoa.
I look at Bob. I'm like, Bob,
If
Whoa.
Valencia asks you questions, make sure you answer them truthfully because she likes to eat goblins.
What did you call me?
Bob?
Bob,
Yeah. Bob.
is your name really Bob? You don't want to lie to Valencia.
Are you Valencia?
That's
Uh,
right.
Yes.
I point to Valencia.
Oh, right. I thought she was talking to me. I'm Valencia, and she's right. So you better tell the truth, or else I'm gonna be really hungry in a second.
What was the question?
What are you doing snooping around our camp?
Nothing.
Who is your leader?
Gabo.
Where is Gabo?
At camp.
Where is camp?
Y'all restrain this guy while I go grab the other one and get him over here and get him restrained as well.
Yeah, I'll work on tying him up.
All right. Can you just give me a like survival check there, Togo? And Zanashi, you're able to find the other one, no problem. You see this big welt on its head, swollen up quite a bit, as it is just passed out in the
Yeah.
bushes.
I'll bring it back and tie it up with some of that rope.
You're gonna just like tie them back to back, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, back to back.
All right. So, Toga, you begin to like wind this one up as Zanashi brings back the other, wrapping the 50-foot rope around both of them, and feeling pretty confident in your knots.
Got it.
And after I get this one tied up, after Togo ties the first one up, I'm going to look at Valencia. Valencia,
Wait, you said do not kill him. What's wrong?
do you have any of your special ability to heal this one so, you know, he's not sleeping?
Only if I have good reason to, and I look over to the one who's still conscious.
Eh,
Are you telling the truth?
well, you didn't eat me.
I'm gonna look at the goblin, and
What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm gonna look at the goblin, and I'm gonna point at him, and send message into his head, and know if you're lying. If I can speak in your head, what do you think? What else can I find in here? I will know if you lie.
Why are you blue?
He ate too many goblins.
All of my
What?
people are blue. Why are you green?
'Cause I'm a goblin.
Surely one of us is facepalming right now, right?
Well, I'm blue because of my race.
Blue, ba-doo-dee-da-doo-da.
How far away?
Da-doo-da-da-doo-dee-da-doo-da.
How far away is Gabo?
Right here.
You're Gabo?
Yeah, I'm a goblin.
No, you said your leader was Gabo.
Oh. Yeah, he down that way. About one night.
And why are you spying on me and my friends?
That one have a funny weapon. As he like nods over towards Togo.
My weapon's not funny.
It looked like other one.
What other one?
Nobody's laughing. Doesn't seem very funny to me.
I can poke you with it, and we'll see if you laugh.
No, that hurts.
What does it look like?
Like thing with strings.
You said it looked like that other one. What is that other one?
The one we have at camp.
I pick up my lute and I kind of pluck a few notes. This?
Yeah. As you see, like, a big smile come across his face. The other goblin. Shh, shh.
So from this, can I just guess that the goblins were just looking at our camp because he was expecting Togo to play music?
From your check, I will say everything that he said thus far has been true. Um, and with him mentioning just seeing the odd weapon and it being familiar back at camp, that's pretty much it.
I'd like
Why
to
did
meet
you venture
Gabo.
this far away from your camp?
Obviously, they've heard of me, Togo Hogpen, the great bard of the now North. Apparently, I've become well known.
Of the 7 rounds.
Of the Andals and the First Men.
Yes.
Yeah, so you let us go.
Do you have any weapons on you?
We will let you go eventually, but right now we want to learn more about you.
I'll walk over and untie the knots on his friend and on him.
Please check for weapons first. As innocent as they may seem, I do not want them hurting other people.
I'll be honest, as easy as it was for Zanashi to restrain them, to knock one out and then hunt down and restrain them, I really think that any creature of intelligence would realize it is out of its depths if it was trying to attack Zanashi again.
You underestimate how dumb goblins are.
I'm not worried about it attacking us. I'm worried about it attacking
I'm not
others.
dumb.
How was that speaking out of character?
Oh, I know, clue. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave something defenseless out here. How many times have we already run into other things besides them? I mean, hell, we just had a literal army attack us yesterday.
I just
And-
don't know what goblins do in these parts.
Do
I
you
don't
know
know.
if there are other lizard folk in the area?
What that?
Big dragon-like looking creatures.
Their tongues go.
You see him
And
look quite confused as he's just like scratching his head since he's freed now, and just stands up, kind of like slightly wiggling about, stretching, and just looks at you very confused as you do that. No.
I'll look at him, and in Goblin, I will say, well, how large is your village?
Pretty big. It's real nice.
You have many people? And I'll take my hands and show like 10, 5 people, 10 people, large village of 20 or more.
You'll see that he just like closes his eyes and continues to nod, folding his arms across his chest. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I can count how many times he nods his head.
He just does it while you're giving off a count. And then when he
Okay.
notices you stop, he'll just like kind of open up one eye.
So more than 50, 60,
Mm-hmm.
200,
Mm-hmm.
1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
10,000.
enough.
That's quite a large village.
At this point, he just yeah, Modar realizes that he has no idea how to count. And
I get it as well, but
yeah, no, that's essentially what I was like. That's what I was trying to do. I was just going with ridiculous numbers that I knew would be fake, but wasn't sure if you. Well,
Bob, I would like to
Did-
meet Gabo.
Why?
I would like to speak with him.
Why?
that is very good. You truly show the intelligence of your race.
Thank
Why is a letter?
I would like to bring my friend here, and I point to Togo, to play his stringed instrument and let you all, your entire tribe, enjoy it.
you. Okay.
well then,
We'll set out in the morning.
yes, we'll relax for the evening and set out in the morning. Would that be okay with you and your comrade here? Listen to Togo play until he goes to sleep.
But he already asleep. As he like gestures over towards the other goblin who is just still knocked unconscious.
I'll
I meant you could listen to Togo until Togo chooses to go to sleep.
No. Yeah.
I'll heal up the goblin.
You give like the heal. You can make the roll for me if you'd like. But you'll just hear, oh yeah, he's feeling good. You'll just hear him as he like opens his eyes. Ah!
Calm down,
And then as
Jimbo.
he this other goblin looks at you, Valencia, just you'll after like the scream, you'll see him and then like extend his hands up to your face really slowly.
I just back up and return to my original seat.
You see him as he like falls, places a hand on his chest and closes his eyes, and then begins to like pucker his lips.
So,
Is he okay?
yeah, I
I mean, you
healed
got
up.
hit on the head pretty hard. Like, you should be fine.
What was his name again?
The names that you had been given are Jim and Bob.
Okay, so when I called him Jimbo, I was close.
So, Togo is going to play for you two until he goes to sleep. And then you're going to leave us alone. Is that a deal?
We were just watching.
Right. Watch from a distance and don't get closer to the camp again.
I mean, they're already in the camp.
Yeah, I feel safer with him staying right here until the morning, until we can go to their camp and Togo can play for them, so that way we know where they're located.
Why do we need to know that?
Do I really have to explain this to you?
Yes, actually. I don't know what this has to do with anything.
So if they are nefarious in nature, we know where they live.
So we go.
In the morning. Sleep now.
It's like you see him just like put his head down quickly, and then after a couple snores, peeks an eye open, looking around, noticing that each of you are still looking at him, quickly closes his eyes and continues to pretend to be sleeping.
And Alencia, they could prove to be potential allies as well.
I'm going to stay up for the night because I believe I've gotten enough chance to sleep. So,
And Modar's just going back to his bed to get back to sleep.
Yep, on
If
bed
that's
too.
the case, I'm gonna hit the bed too.
I'm going to cuddle with one of them like it's a plushie. Just kidding.
I was just about to ask for a check. Should have done it. So, Alencia, as everyone goes to sleep, it is now your watch. And during your watch, you'll get about like an hour in before you hear a psst, hey, hey.
can I tell where it's coming from?
One of the goblins that in particular the one that you had actually healed and saved. Well, from being unconscious for much longer.
Go to sleep.
You pretty.
It's time for you to rest.
Gives a little wink to you, and then nestles his head back down and closes his eyes. And other than that, the rest of the night is uneventful. Alencia, as the sun begins to rise, you would have taken part in your normal routine getting the morning meal ready. I do believe you have some other fresh cooked meat and things of that nature if you wish to use that.
Yeah.
And then each of you will wake up in the morning the same as you do nearly every time you have been on the road, to the smell of a freshly cooked meal as Alencia has prepared for you.
Smells good, Alencia.
I'm glad.
Did you cook enough for our guests, Bob and Jimbo?
I gave them my rations.
Who's that?
So,
Who's who?
Bob and Jimbo.
so what you're saying is that you did lie to us.
I not remember.
You got amnesia?
What is your name?
Fert.
Fert. Well, hello, Fert.
That's Dirt.
Dirt. Got it. Thank you. Hello, Fert and Dirt.
Hi. Smells good.
Does, doesn't it?
They'll both like nod their heads quite enthusiastically. Yeah.
I both gave you something to eat already.
But this smells better.
You
Well,
are a good cook.
I understand the smell can be alluring. You can have mine after I'm finished.
Promise?
Yes, I promise. As long as you continue to be good.
Okay.
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 just does a slight eye roll and eats about half of her food and then lays it down for them.
Well, when you lay that down, they will pretty much just devour it. What is this? This is so good.
It's a couple of thighs from the elk we found earlier.
Yeah, but it tastes different.
Well, it's mixed in with a bunch of other ingredients as well.
What's that?
Stew, some vegetables, some broth.
And as you're explaining, they'll just quickly clean out the rest of the meal that you had set down.
Well, you didn't put any of that goblin we found before.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
we just joke. It's a joke.
That would be rude.
So, we go?
Yeah.
Okay, leave stuff.
I think we'll pack our stuff up and take it with us, actually.
Yes.
We definitely bring our belongings with us. Is that a problem?
Both shaking their heads no.
Glad to hear it. And pack up and put the extra stuff on my horse, and I'm still going to ride because I can.
Odd flex, but okay, I like it.
Did we butcher Clue's former mount?
No.
No. I didn't think
You
about it
all
at the
just,
time,
I mean, you're not too far away, but you did just basically leave everything there.
I mean, like, I'm assuming we just left the horses, like the bodies of the horses and the moose and the bodies of the...
Well, you all did have, like, the saddlebags and everything that were on your mounts as well that had been distributed with gems and coin.
Yeah, I assumed everyone grabbed that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean,
as long as there's
I mean,
mention of it, that's fine with me.
I mean, if okay, at the end of the day, if we need to use the one horse to put all of their, not necessarily their saddles, but their saddle bags, we'll use my horse as a pack horse.
Yeah,
at
which
the
is
moment.
easily doable.
Yeah, I
And
had just
with
assumed we had taken our stuff and left with it, but that is a fair point. We technically didn't mention
and I mean, with the amount of time that you had spent in not going, I mean, like you all said, maybe just like 10 minutes at most away from the dead lizard folk, then the amount of time you spent here, there'd be more than enough downtime for you to do such things.
it. Okay.
But as long as, like I said, as long as there's mention of it, so we're good there. And
Besides that, yeah, we can pack up camp and make our way with whatever their names are.
so this will put you each on the morning of April 27th as you begin heading off the road down almost directly south. The only mention, unless otherwise spoken to from Furt and Dirt, the two goblins, are that it will be a little over a day away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Works for me.
And as we start heading this way, so originally the idea was to avoid this area, but we seem to have an understanding with the local leadership. Do we want to check out these lizard folk on our way?
I don't know what we necessarily gain from checking out the lizard folk. If I'm being honest,
Fair enough.
we can go and fight lizard folk if we really want to, but
Well, I was more thinking of an army to help Mito out, and if we help them out with anything, then we don't have to worry the next time we go into that city.
I'm fine just to never go into Mito again.
Fair enough.
So, what I would just like to point out is as it gets a little bit into the later parts of the afternoon, the sun making its way down a little bit past its peak, each of you will begin to make your way into quite a bit of a thickened forest, following a slightly open trail at first before it begins to close off quite rapidly, to say the least. Becomes very dense, and as you're making your way through, you're having to like get these sticks and twigs out from poking and prodding into your clothing and getting caught on your cloaks. And they will the goblins will pipe up, it little tricky here, but this ancient forest. And they both like very dramatically say it.
What about the ancient forest?
It here a long time, way longer than goblins.
Yeah, most forests have been here for a very long times.
Well, do you know of any structures in the forest that have been here longer than the goblins as well? Any
When you say
buildings,
that word, they look very confused.
old buildings,
No.
or maybe even
Camp, though?
cave? An old camp? No. Like
Yeah, it's where we live. Goblins live. Goblins live at camp. That's where we take.
yes, I understand. Are there any old how would you say caves or stone buildings, wooden ships in the forest?
Maybe Red Tree?
Red tree.
Yeah,
Yes. What is red tree?
it'd speak to Gobbo.
Interesting.
We'll remember to ask Gabo about the red tree.
That sounds very, very interesting and powerful. This red tree. Anything else you know about the red tree, or just it speaks to Gabo? Or spoke to?
Gobbos say it give messages time to time, but that it. As they both kind of shrug.
Huh. Well, it's very inquisitive of you.
Gobbo take people, go speak to it, but... Come on.
What
We'll
happens when people go and speak to to the tree? You just don't see him very much anymore?
Nope.
Huh. Is the tree red because there's like
I don't know, I've never
liquid
been.
coming out of it? Okay. Well, thank you for the information. You're very helpful, you know.
Mm-hmm. You're playing song, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you all make your way just a few feet into the thickness of the trees and the shrubbery, the sun will be, or start to be blocked out as the night begins, or the day begins to turn into night. And that is where we are going to call our session, with each of you making your way through the ancient forest, as the goblins have told you, towards the goblin camp.
Right.
Well, with that, I hope each of you enjoyed tonight's session, and as far as I know, as long as Modar has his regular schedule back, then we should be good for next week. Unless anyone has any plans.
I should be good.
All right. Well, if anybody does have anything, just, give us a decent heads up, so we can make everyone aware about such things, and we can go from there. But if anybody has anything they'd like to share before we get out of here tonight, please feel free to do so.
Be careful about eating doggy treats. That's all I've got.
All right. So from tonight's session, and each of you moving on with the rest that you had, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys your experience from tonight's session, so this way everything is caught up as well. Each of you will earn 200 experience, so this will put you at 6,806 out of the 14,000 needed for your level.
Okay.
And with that, tomorrow night we have Tomb of Annihilation with Zanashi Clue as the DM, and Modar playing, I was gonna say Pistol, Storm, and myself playing Akka. And as we continue through the Tomb of the Nine Gods. And then Thursday we'll have more World of Elista, along with Friday, both at 8 Eastern Standard Time, PM. And if you enjoyed tonight, please do drop a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can get some more D&D and World of Elista content. Hope everyone has a good night, and hope to see you all soon. Bye.